Hello there, world of tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Droodles Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be playing in the Tier 10 Chinese Collector Heavy, the WZ-1115A. As many of you know, this is one of my favorite Tier 10s in the game. And even many years later since its release, honestly, this thing is still a frickin' beast. It features a great gun, fantastic mobility, and earlier today, I made it my goal to 3-mark this vehicle. So far, it's been the easiest tank to 3-mark in the game, only requiring 50 battles. And out of those 50 games, I had a server disconnect moment where the game wouldn't let me log back in, and it actually lowered my percent by like 2.8 or something crazy. So if we actually take out that battle and the amount of games it took me to earn back the percent I lost, we're probably looking at like 43, 44 games to 3-mark the 5A. It's not a shocker. It is one of my favorite tanks, and because of that, I do really well in it. But today, I'm going to showcase the capabilities of this vehicle, an absolutely crazy carry, and some of the goofiest gameplay you've ever seen in your life. So as always, if you enjoy content like this and you want to see more, make sure to smash that subscribe button down below. Now let's start off with the simple, and that is the statistics of the 5A. Well, this vehicle features a really nice gun, 440 damage per shot, it hits hard, and it's also got great DPM at 2,750, and that's with calibrated shells. The 5A has really bad heat pen at only 340. It's enough that you can cut through most armor, but you're definitely going to run into moments where it's going to struggle. Upper plate of a Type 71, for example. Thankfully, this tank has really good standard pen. 280 mils of AP standard makes it one of the highest standard pen tier 10s in the game in the heavies class. So it actually cuts through armor pretty reliably. It's just when you need to load gold, it can be a bit tricky. When it comes to the gun depression, it's got 7 degrees, and my favorite part about the 5A is the mobility. This tank has a fantastic power-to-weight ratio, and, in general, is just really fun to use. So the first game I'm going to showcase here is definitely the most funny, I would say. So while I was in the process of 3-marking my vehicle, we got this game on Port Bay. Now, as we're all aware, Port Bay is not one of the best maps in the game. I don't like it at all, but we got the good spawn on Port Bay. So I'm going to start by maneuvering my tank over towards Base C. And as we do this, we're going to try and get hull down and shoot some of the enemy tanks. We got a Super Conqueror, we got a 60 TP, okay. Oh, there's the E6, nice, 472 damage shot into that player, okay. We're going to chill here again. Can't hit the 60 TPs he's driving down. Nice thing is, at least with 7 degrees of gun depression, I have just enough to work the ridgeline. That shell, not really sure how it bounced, but it is a good example of where that 340 heat just sometimes isn't enough. If we were in like an average tier 10 heavy, we probably would have cut right through that. So we overpoke, get a nice shot into the 2 and 5B, but I'm starting to notice a trend. There's a Super Conk on my side, an E6, an FE2 on 5B. There's a lot of cringe, and I don't even have the gun depression. I want to hit the grill, but again, I don't have the gun depression to hit the grill. Maybe I can hit the 6? No. And now my VK90's dead because he decided that he wanted the YOLO into the front line. Don't worry, you want to see my IS-7? Well, there he is. Let's take a look at the skilled IS-7 on my team. You ready? Ooh, boy! Yep, that's my teammate, who decided to flank all the way to the other side of the map. So, I managed to track the enemy 2 and 5B, but the problem is, like, what do I do here, bruh? I get shot by the E6. I try to hit the 2 and 5B, but unfortunately I shoot the wall because of my reload being just slightly longer. We've lost a lot of health now, and we have the grill. Let's aim it on the grill. We have 340 health, and we have only 1,300 damage to my total. But this is where things get a little interesting. See, I was live streaming while I was grinding my marks. And one thing I've been telling my chat is, if you do get me in game, please do not purposely throw games for your team. Well, what ended up happening here was that this 2 and 5B and this E6 are both fans of the channel and decided at the end of the game that they wanted to let me farm them. Obviously, I'm going to lose either way. You look at the enemy result. It's a 7-3 right now. So, obviously it's not doing very good right now for our team anyway. And I'm not going to win this. So, as I always tell my chat, if you're going to do something like this, please don't do it at the beginning of a game. And especially, do not just throw your game away. to let me farm you, because you're just rigging games, and I don't want to be part of rigging games. I'd be mad if somebody did it on my team. But obviously, in a situation like this, it's not hurting anyone. The E6, the 2 and 5B, they're obviously letting me farm them. They don't care, and I'm sitting here as well. We got the Sheridan over here, so I'm going to shoot the Sheridan. And then, here's the funniest part. The enemy Sheridan is also a fan. So we have 3 players. The Sheridan, the E6, and the 2 and 5B. Sheridan just drives into me. So at this point, I'm like, okay, well, I might as well try and farm as much as I can. So I'm going to try and farm the enemy grill. Again, there's still like 8 billion tanks left on the enemy team. So I get a shell into the grill. And I reload again. Come on, reload, reload, reload. Boom! Okay, that's 593. The grill manages to bounce me. Come on, reload! Reload. Well, we get another shell into the enemy 907, and unfortunately, we do end up dying. I mean, as I said, there's no world we were ever going to win this, but this game was just hilarious to play. It really was. I am grateful that my fans allowed me to farm them a little bit at the end there. I didn't kill a single player, as you noticed. I didn't kill the grill, I didn't kill the 907, and the Sheridan killed himself on me. So I didn't want to make it so that, like, I was going out of my way to ruin these people's games. And, I mean, it didn't change the results at all, so I'm not too bummed about this, and I don't think anybody on their team should be bummed. I'm confident that there's definitely going to be somebody in the chat after this game, in the comment section, like, oh my god, Drill, this is rigging, but, like, bro... It's not a rigging game if my whole team falls apart in 5 seconds, and it still lets the enemy team win. All it did was give me a little bit of damage. And I want to clarify, I did not tell anybody in my stream to ever do this. This was not incited by me. It was just 3 players that I guess wanted to give me some damage. So with that being said, now let's take a look at some actual games that were pretty fun. So what do we have over here? Well, let's take a look at a try-hard game now. So we just looked at the dumbest game ever. Now let's look at an actual game that is pretty crazy. Okay, this game here was an insane battle, and it's probably one of the biggest clutches I've had in a month. I mean, as most of you are well aware, when it comes to Blitz nowadays, it's very rare to get games where you get a truly crazy carry. It's just not that common anymore. But this game was one of the few that we had a really crazy experience. So I'm going to start by capturing base C. The easiest way to mark your tanks, as I keep saying, is to capture bases. It's just a fact. So I'm going to start by capturing the base, and now I'm going to leave, and I'm going to figure out what I want to do here. So far, nobody's been spotted. Our team is all the way over at base A corner. Nothing spotted over there, and we have 4202 detected over at base C. Now, the reason I'm obviously leaving this position is because right now my team's pretty split up, and I don't want to be in a situation where I get caught out in the open. So we get a nice shell into the Ag Tiger. One of the things I've always loved about the 5A is its gun is surprisingly accurate. So every now and then it trolls me, but in general, the gun is really, really nice. So we get one shell into the Ag Tiger. We're aiming again. Dang. Well, that shell didn't go where I wanted it to, but it's alright. We haven't bled any health yet, and we're doing totally fine. So the Ag Tiger is still right there. Okay. Well, the Ag Tiger shoots at me. I'm not going to use a repair kit because that would be a waste. I'm going to aim it on the Ag Tiger. Boom. Nice. 387. We're up to 800 damage now. I'm going to back up. Let's reload. 3, 2, 1. Let's aim it on that Ag Tiger. Boom. There you go. 365. And while we did bleed a little bit of health at the end of the day, we won that pretty easily. So now we got the FE4 202. Sometimes I really wish my RNG would work just a little bit better, but unfortunately it didn't there. Well, you know what I do see? An IS-4 and a T100. Now, the nice thing about the 5A, as I said, is that this thing has really good AP pen. A lot of Tier 10 heavies will not reliably pen the upper plate of an IS-4. It's sometimes a 50-50. But in this tank, as you can see, at any angle, I can quite reliably cut right through the upper plate of the IS-4. Not only that, I have more alpha damage than the IS-4, better accuracy than the IS-4, and better gun depression. You know, I really do think the 5A is just a better version of the IS-4 right now. Obviously, next update, when Wargaming rebalances the game, I think that the IS-4 will be more like a Type 71, but it's just kind of funny. Now, I can see that my T95 is getting absolutely butchered, and I'm going to try and help out this T95, so we're going to ram the T100, and I actually caused the T100 to miss, which means that the T100 is still not able to kill my T95, And because they have to spend another shell there, I get another shot myself. 394, by the way. This tank has 440 alpha, and we rolled 394 there. And if you think that my bad RNG is done, we have 440 alpha. We roll 424. We low rolled 2 shots in a row on this T100 LT. That is absolutely crazy. And because of that, it cost me over 600 health. How incredibly fun. At least we still clear that player. But like, God, is it annoying when you get bad RNG like that. So if you notice, it's a 1 versus 3. And actually, for a brief moment there, it was a 1 versus 4. So let's see what we can do. We're up on base cap, so I'm actually not going to go in the base C. I don't really want to speed up the base cap on my team. I want to try and get as much damage as I can, because as many of you are aware, the more damage and more kills I can get, the better it's going to be for my mark. So let's see. Oh, there's the 4202 spotted. What the heck? Okay, well, the 4202 shoots me, and boom, a nice shot into the enemy 4202 turret. Now I'm going to try and push this player as fast as I can. We actually get a bounce. They just must not have had the gun depression. Now I'm going to load in an HE. Boom. 580. We're over 5,000 damage now. We're still going up on base cap. Definitely not the best situation for the enemy team. Okay, well, we know that the E4 is fairly low. However, I don't remember how much health the 114 SP2 is on, so I'll have to keep an eye out for that player. Now, the 4202 leaves, and rather irritatingly, manages to spot me when leaving there. I guess my frontal port was just slightly sticking out. So, what I'm going to do now is, oh, well, there's the 114, minus 602 of my health. We're going to even on his lower plate, and we get the clear. Thankfully, that one didn't low roll 390. Alright, well, we're up to 5,500 damage now. We're in the range of a one-shot for both the FE4202 and the E4. But, okay, there's the E4. Just not able to hit him. Dang, dude. Well, we know that the 4202 is in the base A. So, because the 4202 is in base A, we're going to try and take out this E4. So, I'm going to move up here. Alright, let's see if we can catch him off guard. Oh my god, he's looking at me. Shoot! Okay, well, we both missed. Not very surprising. We both snapped our shots. I tried to hit him in the roof. I should have just fired an AP shell, but we both got lucky. And unfortunately for him, my tank reloads faster, so I was able to take out the E4. But I know where the 4202 is. Yeah, over in the corner over here. So I have to be a little careful, They're going up pretty fast on base cap. 900, 903, 906. So I need to get base B capped immediately. And then as soon as I'm done capping it, I need to get into cover. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use that E4 carcass, because it's just too tall for me to hide my tank. I'm going to move over here, and I'm assuming, indeed, the 4202 is going to try and rush me. Just like that, I deal 5,800 damage, achieve 6 kills, and a 1 versus 4. And just like that, we got an insane battle. That game alone brought my mark percentage up 8.93%, as you can see right there. 8.93%. That is crazy. That's probably the biggest jump I've ever seen in my marking percentage so far. But it just shows how good the 5A can be. And as we can see, that was my first gun mark as well on the vehicle. So now we are going to take a look at a game on Molendijk. This was also a really, really fun battle for the 5A. In general, this is a fun tank to drive. And I just have a lot of fun in this thing. I never really seem to have an experience that's bad. But let's see what we can do in this game. Let's see. Up against us, we have the Chieftain, Type 71, VK90, E75. Okay, so they got 4 heavies. I will say the matchmaker has been a lot better today and recently than it has been in the past. When trying to get my 3 marks on my tier 10s in the past, the matchmaker was really, really bad. And because of that, it wasn't fun. The problem was there were so many people trying to 3-mark their tanks. But now that it's no longer the weekend, and pair that with the fact that not as many people are tryharding anymore, it means that I'm able to continue 3-marking my tanks without having a terrible experience. Also, I'm going to ruin your life, but have you guys ever seen how bad this water looks here? It's literally not water. It's just like a fake water texture. Wargaming couldn't even be bothered to give it a water texture. So here we go. We've captured the base. Now I'm going to roll around the corner. You got the VK90 aiming. Going to go for the track wheel. Unfortunately, not only do we low roll, but the VK90 is able to hit me in return. Okay, well that's not very good. Let's move up. And, let's see. So, the VK90 shoots my teammate, so that gives me the opportunity to move up myself. This is where that really nice standard pen is fantastic. As many of you are well aware, when shooting at the lower plate of a VK90, it can be really tricky with tanks that don't have a really good standard pen, or, even more, APCR standard. But this tank, with its AP standard and really good AP pen, is very easily able to cut through the lower plate of the VK90. Now, I see that there's an AFK Type 71, so I'm going to aim it on that tank and get a 550 max roll. This is where that 2,700 DPM is really, really nice, because we can start ripping into this AFK player. I am always going to farm an AFK player. It will never be a situation where I'm like, ooh, I'm not going to take advantage of this. Unless, obviously, I'm in like a 1 versus 1 situation. I'm not going to shoot the AFK then. But in general, I'm going to go for the AFK, because why wouldn't I? It's free damage, and there's really no downside to it. So, we get one more shell into that player, and it just puts us over 3,000 damage. At this point, though, I'm aware that the E100 is going to kill that player. But while this game may look like a free win, it's definitely not over yet. They got a VK90, a Chieftain, a Standard B, an E50M, and a Hori that are all still very healthy. So even though they had an AFK, our team's definitely not doing amazing. So I'm going to flank. I'm not spotted right now, so we'll get to the side of the Chieftain, and boom. Nice 440 roll. Okay, well that puts us up to 34. I'd love to be able to get another shell into the Chieftain, but my reload just isn't fast enough to get the shell out. But that's fine. That's fine. We are going to wait here. Chieftain's not going to poke. I got to be careful, though. While they do have some fairly easy targets to take advantage of, they also have some pretty dangerous targets. The Chieftain just shot, and we got the VK90 over here. Okay, well, I'm going to try and shoot the VK90. Because he's a rear-turreted tank, I can poke without the VK90 being able to shoot me, so that's pretty good. We're up to 4,000 damage now, and I'm willing to bleed some health to kill the Chieftain. And actually, the VK90 doesn't even shoot me. Okay. Well, that's our first kill, and now 4,000 damage dealt. I'm also thinking to myself, you know what, I'd rather shoot the E50M than the VK90. I want to take advantage of damage that's far away from me. That way, ooh, and we get a fire. How much damage did that fire give me? Almost 800. Yeah, baby. And then we got the Hori over here, which we aim in on the track wheel of, and got 397. Well, this game has turned out to be pretty dang good, hasn't it? We're already up to 5,400 damage. Now, at this point in time, I had an option. The option was push the VK, try and kill him, and then try and push the standard B, or it was wait here. Now, you can see that I'm being really careful. The reason why is because I'm worried that Hori's back there. The last thing I want to have happen is try and push this VK90, have the Hori shoot me, and then my game's over. But in retrospect, I should have just pushed the VK90, because what ends up happening is I don't get too much more damage in this game, because I was just really worried that Hori was back there. You can see I even took a blind shot. I got spotted. I was like, oh, the Hori's back there. Because, again, if the Hori shoots me once for 560, I'm down to less than, you know, like 600 health. The VK90 could high roll and kill me. I don't want to be in that type of situation. So, wow. We shoot the side of the VK90, and somehow it manages to hit the only red crease on the side. So that sucks. Alright, well, let's aim it on the VK, and boom. There you go. Nice 416. We're up to 6,100 damage now. But, as we can see, the enemy standard B gets killed, and the Hori wasn't even poking. So, in retrospect, if I'd pushed the VK90, probably could have killed him, gotten myself close to 7,000 damage, and I might have even been able to, been able to farm out the standard. I could have potentially done over 8k this game, but you know what? I can't get mad. 6,000 damage is still a really good result, and it was enough to bring my mark up by 2.6%. That's quite solid, judging that we were already at 92% at the point of playing here. We aced, and obviously had a really, really good game in general. So, it's definitely not that hard to do well in the 5A, as we can see. The gun is just so nice. This game here, I'm pretty sure, was the game that allowed me to get the 3rd mark on this tank. Up against us, we have an AMX M4, E100, Burger King Bad Cat. That person is a fan of the channel. They've been trying to get into my games all day. And so, just for some insight, the IS-7 on my team had been purposefully trolling my battles. Purposefully. And it's all on live stream if you want to see it. But this is probably the 5th or 6th game that I had gotten with this same Angel player in the IS-7. And they kept trying to block me and kept trying to ruin my game. So you're going to notice, even in this battle, the IS-7 still tries to make me have a bad experience. And the mouse on the enemy team, who had been watching the stream, knew this, so the mouse actually went out of their way to try and tunnel the enemy IS-7. You know what? I got no problems with that. But what's nice is that, as I've said, I'm in contact with Wargaming on stream, and I'm going to be working on getting any players that try and get in my way, try to troll me, get banned. So we can see that there's a lot going on here. We got an E100. Thankfully, I'm able to pull in the cover before the E100 can hit me, and he bounces off the back edge of my tank. But this isn't good. This is not good. This here is looking like a bad spot. We got the AMX M4 pushing up. We have the mouse. We've got everything else pushing up here, and that's not good. I can't really get out at this point. So what I'm hoping is that I can get a little bit more damage. So we aim it on the roof of the AMX. We get a pen, but uh-oh. Yep, there's the IS-7 purposefully sitting side on so I can't reverse. And you can see that. Like, he's obviously trolling. We can see that he's not aiming in on anybody. He's not trying to do anything. He's just, ooh, I didn't mean to back into you there. Now, obviously, he's purposefully doing it. He had been doing it for most of the game. And you're going to see again as I try backing up here, he just refuses to let me to reverse. So incredibly fun. Incredibly fun. We love having teammates that get in your way and purposely trying to ruin your game. Thankfully, we got a little bit of luck. Now, fun fact, the Błyskawica, those little windows there are actually weak points. By the way, I'm getting pushed by the IS-7 still here into the open, as we can see. It's funny how he's trying to, like, make it look like, oh, I'm not pushing you. Oh, oops, I don't mean to do that. But he's very clearly pushing me. So, the mouse pushes up. I get a nice shell into the mouse. And, as I said, the mouse purposefully tried to tunnel that guy. I'm going to load in a high explosive. I should have let that mouse live and continue shooting the IS-7, but I wanted to get the kill. We're already up to 3,000 damage in this game, and I really want to kill the Błyskawica. I loaded an HE, and it does no damage. Okay. IS-7 still trying to get in my way, as we can see. Gotta love that player. So, at this point, I'm going to try and figure out what I want to do. So, we got the AMX M4 up there. We got the 113. I'm actually going to push up. I want to see if I can bleed out to the AMX. Well, I'm going to push up before the E100 can shoot me. AMX is looking at the mouse, so there you go. We got a nice pen. Take that player out of the game. And now we can move up just a little bit more. Alright, let's see. We got the 113. Boom. Okay, nice. 480 damage. Reloading again. 3, 2, 1. Boom. There you go. Another nice shot into the lower plate of the enemy 113. Okay, pretty good stuff so far. Pretty good stuff. Alright, I'm going to back up. There you go, another nice tracking shell. This poor 113. We're already up to 5,000 damage at this point. And let's aim in one more shot. Boom. There you go. Just like that, we ended up dealing 5,175 damage, got 3 kills, and this was the last game we needed to 3-mark the WZ-111-5A. We were pretty close already, so I knew that this game was going to be the 3rd mark. We only needed like 0.8%, so there you go. 95.27, and a really, really good game at that. Obviously, the enemy IS-7 purposefully trying to troll is pretty lame, but... Or not the enemy IS-7, my teammate IS-7. But whatever, they failed. They completely failed their entire goal, and I still managed to get the 3rd mark on the 5A. So yeah, 5A will always be one of my favorite tier 10s. It really is just such a fun tank. It's my 5th most played tank in the game, and it's just an absolute beast. So hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you want to see more content like this in the future, smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!